Okay, let's talk about Dean Oliver's great four factors model. So Dean worked a long time for the Denver Nuggets. I believe he played college basketball for Caltech. Worked for the Denver Nuggets, became the director of ESPN stats, and recently he went back to the NBA to be the analytics director, I believe, for the Sacramento Kings. So you remember we talked about the Giants in baseball, what made them win. We talked about there's hitting, there's pitching, there's fielding, and base running a little bit, but that's usually not the main thing. Okay. And in the NFL, you could break it down to pass offense, pass defense, run offense, run defense, and special teams. Okay, so in basketball, how can you break down what makes a team win if you want to see where your team ranks on various things? So I have data from the 2007-2008 NBA season here. And the four factors, what are the four things that sort of you need to be good at basketball? Well, you need to be able to shoot well and stop the other team from shooting well. And so that's one factor, which is your effective field goal percentage minus the opponent's. And so here Miami shot 52.44% effective field goal. Their opponent's 47.51. The difference is what matters. Well, you need to go to the foul line. So you take free throw attempts divided by field goal attempts. So the Heat would get 36 free throw attempts per 100 field goal attempts. Their opponent's 29.9. Really, it probably should be something like free throws made would be better, but they usually use free throw attempts. Okay. Now, then you want to not turn the ball over. So you look at now here, so the difference on free throw attempts from offense to defense, your team and the other team, that positive is good. But turnovers, a positive difference is bad. It means you turn the ball over. So his turnovers per 100 possessions for like the Heat was 13.52 and the opponent was 12.6. And then rebound percentage. What percentage of your shots do you rebound on offense? What percentage of the opponent's shots does the opponent rebound? Take the difference. So those four differences are your four factors. And basically the question is how you rank, what are each of those worth, and then how do you rank on them? So in the regression data, we've got the difference columns put adjacent. Okay, and we have what you're trying to predict is the number of wins. Okay, so we're going to run regression in the season. And then you have the EFG difference as one independent. You've got the free throws divided by field goal attempts as another variable. Turnovers per 100 possessions difference. And your offensive rebound percentage minus the opponent offense rebound percentage. Okay, so you can run a regression. We know how to do that. Data analysis, regression, where are we? So the Y range is going to be the wins. The X range is going to be the four differences. So it's going to be these four columns. Okay, so we got row 56 through 86 there. That should work. We're going to have labels. I can put this in the same worksheet. Okay, so R squared is 93.1. I've got the results somewhere else. I think that's the right answer. Okay, so this is the four-factor regression results. Okay, so let's see how good does this model do for this data in predicting how many wins the team has. So the R squared is 93%. 93% of variation in wins is explained. The standard error, we know is important, 3.72. So you double that. 95% of the time, we can use 4 factors to predict wins within 2 standard errors. So 2 times 3.72, about 7 wins. And we can see all these variables are significant. The p-values are very low. Rebounds don't appear to be quite as important. They make sense. Okay, you have 1 more turnover per 100 possessions. You're going to win 4 less, about 3.7 less games. Okay, and if you think about that, that makes sense. 1 more turnover per 100 possessions. Let's say on offense, well, that's going to be, you don't have 100 possessions in a game. Well, roughly 100 possessions in a game. That's pretty close. Okay, so 1 more turnover. Okay, it's going to cost you possession, which is worth about a point. So that would cost you about 3 wins, but then you're giving them a better possession. When you turn the ball over, they'll average more points per possession. So that coefficient makes sense, and you can interpret the other coefficients similarly. Okay, free throw difference, it's like if you had 1 more free throw per 100 possession, per 100 field goal attempts, that's a little less than 1 free throw extra per game, which might be about 0.7 points. Okay, and well, you might have scored in that possession, so it's not clear that how to evaluate what that coefficient should be. But all the p-values are low, and that's good. So what percentage of basketball is based on shooting offense minus defense, free throw offense minus defense? In other words, the 4 factors. What percentage of basketball is basically based on those 4? And so I did a bit of an analysis here, and this you could use in any regression. It's a crude way to figure out how important each variable is. So I've copied the coefficients from our regression over here. Okay. And so then we ask ourselves, if we can improve ourselves by 1 standard deviation on each factor, how many more wins would we get? From average to 1 standard deviation above average. How many wins would we generate? And then we can see for each factor what percentage of that total is each factor. Now I can tell you, Dean Oliver said, although Basketball Reference disagrees with this, that this would be 40%, turnovers would be 25%, rebounding 20%, so that leaves, what, 15% for free throws. Okay, now let's see what we get here. So we need a standard deviation for each of these differences. So I've got that with the STTV function. For instance, the standard deviation on EFG offense minus defense is 2.82. Free throws attempts divided by field goal attempts is 3.75, etc. And so if I would take, okay, let's take difference in effective field goal percentage. So you want to make yourself 1 standard deviation better than average, which means move from the 50th percentile to the 84th percentile. You would have to go up by 2.82 on effective field goal percentage and multiply that by the absolute value of the coefficient here. That would be worth 10 wins. And on free throw difference, it'd be worth 3 wins. And on turnover difference, it's worth about 5 wins. I took the absolute value of the coefficients. And on run defense, if you can make, rebound defense, it's about 1.3 wins. And if you see what this adds up to about 19. So 10 wins out of 19 is about 53%. So you can see right here I get almost exactly what Dean Oliver says, although Basketball Reference seems to disagree with these percentages. Oops. But I think that shooting is more important than Dean Oliver got. And I don't think, and I sort of agree with that. And I get rebounding is less important than Dean Oliver got. Because, I mean, in a sense, there isn't much differential on rebound percentages there. Okay. Well, that's the end of our video on the 4 factors. But any GM, one of the first things in basketball, one of the first things he should do or she should do is look at basically where they stand on the 4 factors and how, I mean, and see basically who they can get in the free agent market or via the draft who might impact those 4 factors. Okay. Well, we'll see you in the next video when we'll talk probably about how we can measure how good a basketball player is. You might think that's simple, okay, but it really isn't.
Okay, so thanks for watching, and there's a free course, a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, and all of these videos are coming from one of 3 books. So first, this one, which you can see here at the top of the screen, Microsoft's book, which has 355 reviews, and then it's, let's see, 4.6 stars. It's coming from this book as well, his marketing analytics book, which is down here, and you can sort of see 4.5, or his newest book, his analytics stories book, which is here. And with that one, you can see it's 4 point something, or maybe even 5. I don't think it's 5. Yeah, 4.8. And so, yeah, anyways, in the description, there's a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, or you can go to excelwithwayne.com/free, and it'll be there. But again, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, just please let us know. Thanks.